I'm so thrilled to have discovered what I think is an astonishing thing, not because we're anything, but just by common sense. It's a fact that you can demonstrate very easily by going to one of thousands of sites offering salvation online. I mean, there's just a mass of material there. And you simply, in the question and answer section, ask them, what's the gospel? And almost certainly, they will not say it's the gospel of the kingdom. Why not? They'll talk about the gospel. They'll say, Jesus died for my sins and rose. I get that. The Billy Graham system says proudly that Jesus came to do 3 days' work, to die, to be buried, and to rise. And I simply say that's simply false. What was he preaching for some 3 years before he even mentioned his death? This is an exciting topic for me, if only because nobody seems to know about this. You know, if you've got something that nobody else seems to understand, it's kind of exciting. It's saying to people, because they are amazed when they find this out. That remains the question. That's why, as a challenge to anybody hearing this broadcast later, and I found that practically nobody says what Jesus preached was the gospel of the kingdom. Now, in our own movement, the Abrahamic people from about 1850, these were people who simply sat down with the Bible in England and America, and they said, my goodness, we don't hear anything about the second coming in preaching. And that got them started. Then they said, well, if the parousia, that's the word for the second coming, if that's so important, what happens after the second coming? The kingdom of God. What in the world is that? That got that whole movement started, and so it should. So I would love anybody out there to engage some of these top journalists who are very smart people on this interesting question. Why isn't the phrase gospel of the kingdom heard in sermons week after week after week? And it patently isn't. I don't think there's a more interesting question that you could possibly ask than that. So that's what drives me. It is exciting to understand the Bible when you didn't before, by the way. I didn't know any of this stuff. I tried to read the Begat section in Matthew every year, and I never got beyond about verse 18. I couldn't deal with the Begats. Now I can read the Bible for 2 or 3 hours on a stretch easily. People have these little systems where they read one verse per day. That's not enough. The Bible is an amazing drama. It's a movie beyond all movies. It's absolutely thrilling because at the end of it, you get immortality. At the end of it, the nations beat their swords into plowshares, and you will not be allowed to build a tank and kill people in that kingdom. If that isn't exciting, I don't know what could be. It's when people lose that passion for truth, we're in trouble. And the easiest thing is to compromise with other systems. You don't want to go and merge with everybody else when they have beliefs which are fundamentally opposed to yours. You don't want to do that because you're going to water your own thing down. So stay with the truth that you understand, proclaim it decently and kindly, but don't compromise with a system that's going to simply weaken yourself. And you may get accused of being separatist and all sorts of things, but then don't forget that Jesus was accused by his own family of being mad. They said, get him off the streets, he's gone insane. His own family said that. So you're going to run into opposition because people do not want their traditions checked or challenged in any way. But the essence of what we do is to challenge traditions and say, have you ever thought about this? And most people haven't.